Alright, time for another math easy solution. Today we're going to discuss different types of numbers, and we're going to look at natural integers, rational, irrational, and real numbers, and just briefly discuss what they are. Well, natural numbers are just they're just counting numbers. They're just stuff that you can count with. They're just counting, like example 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. So you can count, and there's no zero. There's no zero. Let's go right. No zero. And if we go to integers, they are similar to natural numbers, except you include negatives. Let's say 3, -2, -1, and you include 0. And then you get the natural numbers. Yeah, so then this is basically, this one's basically equal to natural, and then has 0 and negatives. So that's basically the difference. And if we were to go to rational, rationals, this one's an interesting one. If you were, this is defined as basically as a fraction. If a number can be written as a fraction of a and b, where a and b are integers, they are integers, meaning, yeah, you have, yeah, like one of these, but it's a big but. B is not equal to 0, so you can't have it. So that would be undefined. And yeah, so this is basically what as an example is, let's say 3/2, and this is equal to 1.5. So notice that this decimal place stops here. Or if you have 4/2, this one is equal to 2. This is a natural and integer number. And then if another one example is 1/3, this one's equal to 0.3333. So this one, yeah, it's repeats infinitely. Repeats infinitely. This is also considered irrational because you could write it as this fraction there. Alright, and another, now we're going to go to irrational. Irrational is basically defined exactly, yeah, it's basically defined exactly what the word is. It's not rational. So what it means is you can't write it as a and b. So it can't be a fraction. Can't write as fraction. As a fraction. And a famous example is pi. Pi is this basic circumference over diameter. You all know what this is. It's 3.1415, etc. And this goes on forever. And it never repeats. So that's another thing about irrational numbers. They never repeat. Like this one repeats, it goes on forever, but this one doesn't. And it never terminates. Never terminates. Or never stops. Like the decimal places never stop, like this example. Like this one stopped at 1.5. There's a 0.5. This one is 3.1415. It goes on forever, and yeah, it never stops. And another interesting number is actually, let's say 22/7. This is a good approximation for pi. This one's actually equal to 3.142857. 142857. 142857. If you put in a calculator, and this goes on forever. But if you see this 142857, 142857, this is a pattern. This is yeah, this pattern repeats. Yeah, this repeats forever. Repeats, and this is a close approximation to pi, and this one repeats forever. Because this is repetition, this is rational. And whereas pi is, if you were to write down, like if you were to go really far, 1.59, yeah, 159265358 etc., etc. So it goes on forever. So that's basically irrational numbers. They never repeat, they never terminate, and there's no pattern. So we'll just write no pattern. That's basically the repeats part, no pattern. Yeah, and another actually interesting thing about pi. Pi is actually pi is transcendental or transcendental. This is also, I'll explain this in another video. This is very important. This is very interesting. It means it can't be written as a sum of algebraic terms. Yeah, so I'll explain this in another video. This one I'll go in more in depth in it. This one's actually quite interesting. So this one we'll go later, but another number we're gonna look at is real numbers. Well, real numbers is basically, it's just basically any number besides, yeah, imaginary numbers. This is basically what it is. And imaginary numbers, if you want to know what they are, you can see my other video on imaginary numbers. Yeah, so you can see what that is besides imaginaries, anything but that. So basically, yeah, you could have, if this is 0, then this is, let's say, 1, 2, whatever. So it's basically any number on the scale. It could be -2, -1. It could be 0.5, 6, 7, or whatever. It could be negative. It could be pi. Pi is basically real is anything but anything that's not imaginary. And yeah, imaginary is basically I squared equals 1 equals -1. So that's basically the definition of it. You can see another video on further explanation on imaginary numbers. Well, this is basically it. I'll explain this in another video. Transcendental numbers. It's very good. It's very interesting. So rational, basically, it's not rational. Can't be written as a fraction and whatnot. Rational. There you go. It's basically a fraction. And then integers and rational numbers. Well, hopefully you learned different numbers, and tune in for another math easy solution.